The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency will today arraign the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, and 6 others on 8 counts bordering on drug trafficking. They are expected to be arraigned before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court. The agency, in its charge, alleged that DCP Kyari, who previously headed the Police Intelligence Response Team, and his men unlawfully tampered with 21.25 kilograms worth of cocaine seized from 2 apprehended drug traffickers. DCP Kyari was said to have also attempted to bribe a senior officer of the NDLEA with $61,400 to prevent the testing of part of the cocaine that was seized from the drug pushers. This is the crux of our next discussion now. Joining me to discuss this is the publisher, Inside Watch Africa, Oluwaseyi Adeyemo. Nice to have you, Don.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
I also have our correspondent, Celestina Ira, who will be joining us at the course of the program as we move on to, understanding and getting signals from Abuja regarding the arraignment and so on. But let's start with Sheyi here in the studio. Well, the issues around DCP Abba Kyari has been on, the controversies. So, did he not? Okay, will he be extradited? No, will he not? All of those things, people permutating, seeing things from different perspectives. But here we are now getting more serious because you accuse someone, just go to court. All the things will be looked at all of that. What do you make of this process, though? Because some people were skeptical that we will not see the light, we won't see the end of this.
Okay, as a Nigerian, I'm happy that we're taking steps to correct some of the plenty wrongs that we have. It's unfortunate. As a Nigerian, we all expect that we do certain things so that we start to get the kind of results that we want. You see, as a people, we must understand that there's no way you would leave things to run in the way we have allowed it to run. And we expect that we would have the kind of nation that we would, that we all desire. So I'm happy that for whatever it's worth, the federal government through the NDLEA have decided to pursue, the arrest and, arraignment of Abba Kyari because, as we all know, the United States have decided to say, look, for the case of Hush Puppy, we need the testimony of Abba Kyari because there's complexity in his relationship with him. And maybe it took that long for us to realize that there was a need to pursue this line. But like other Nigerians, I also would say, okay, at least for whatever is worth, a step is being taken. And this is the right step, as you have pointed out, that at least an actionable, a measurable step is now being taken. It will be taken to court. It will be, all the processes will be undergone, and obviously that would, sort of delay is extradition to the United States because you can't have him here being, arraigned and in the US at the same time. So the process of his extradition is on, but this process must be seen through before it can be extradited. So, we all are hopeful that the right things will be done. That is my submission.
All right. Now, a section of Nigerians are still calling for the cases that Abba Kyari handled to be revisited at this point. And they are saying, of course, so many of those cases that were handled, he received a lot of commendation for some of them. But the way that things turned out, it would be good to double check to be sure that those things that were handled, the way they were handled, actually went the way they're supposed to be. What do you make of that, though?
You see, again, I think this is an opportunity for all of us to revisit our law enforcement agencies, to revisit the way we've handled them, the way we've treated them. Two things that always come to mind, and I think it is something that we need to deal with decisively. One, how do we remunerate our law enforcement agency? And when you talk about remuneration, Nigerians are quick to say, even if you give them the whole world, give them the whole world first. Look, if you want, let's be realistic. When you look at Nigerians working in oil company, when you look at Nigerians working in communication companies, when you look at Nigerians working even in banks, you see that that same Nigerian that you thought could not do well are doing very well. When they work with international organizations, you see them coming out, sparkling and delivering, good quality and all of that. Why don't we think that we need to benchmark our police force, our, regulation agencies, Nigerian Customs Service, the Army, and all of these people? Why can't we benchmark them with what is happening in those countries where we're getting results or seeing them doing things in a way that we like? Do we just expect performance and not know that there is a need for us to, look at the condition of service for these people? Some time ago, I pursued loan with a particular agency, and they looked at my proposal and saw that the salary I'd put in for myself was not adequate. That was why I was rejected, because the gentleman who spoke to me said, if you do not pay yourself well, we are not sure you'll be able to protect our money. So we must consider that. If you're trying to give somebody a responsibility to chase billionaires, to make sure that all of these big people are brought to book, what kind of remuneration are you giving that person? The other thing I also want us to consider is the key performance indicators. How do we measure performance? Because you just talked about the fact that Abba Kyari was celebrated. Every Nigerian felt like, wow, he was doing a good job for us. So the thing is, we need to revisit our key performance indicators. What are we expecting from them to do? What are the things that we expect them to do so that we can say, okay, of the truth, these people are performing well? Because if you feel that, because you have arrested so numbers or you have brought so numbers to books, that is how we measure success or them performing well, it means that we are missing it. And at the end of the day, supervision. You see, if you put somebody in a particular position and you don't have a measure of ensuring that what they do is measured and supervised, then the person is at liberty to do whatever he likes.
Exactly.
You understand? Exactly. And at the end of the day, you look at it from afar, you say, the person is doing very well. The point is, do you have a clear objective? Do you have a clear indicators that measurable landmarks that you're pursuing, and say, okay, fine, as a country, as a society, as a state, these are the things we're looking for. This is the kind of society that we desire, and we need so steps to be taken. And so after a quarter, mid-year, end of year, you're able to say, okay, I think we're moving near where we had purpose that we were going. But if you don't have such things, then everybody can have a party.
I recall the CG of Customs at the time had this thing with former Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, when he was requesting that, my men at what they have brought back monies, ensured that the regulatory whatever, and you're seeing results. And if you're expecting so much and then you're giving targets to the customs, okay, we need you to rake in this amount of money. What are you giving to them to say, all right, you guys have done so well, hold this, let us increase their salaries, or let us give them some bonuses, or let's give them some incentive.
In customs, before, if you make certain amounts, the regulation and the practice was that you were given a percentage of what you have, sort of discovered. They call it underpayment. So if you say, okay, because of so effort, I know that government should have earned this amount, but you're trying to pay government this amount, and you as an individual, ensure that amount is recovered, money that ordinarily would have been lost, you would be given legally from the accounts a certain
Is that still in
amount.
practice?
No.
Oh no.
So all of a sudden they just decided that no, you're giving them too much. What is too much? How much are they being paid? I mean, how much is the custom officer in the Republic of Benin being paid? How much is the custom officer in Ghana being paid? How much is the custom officer in Brussels being paid? And these people, it is World Customs Organization. I mean, we're not talking about customs right now, but because you mentioned it, you know, the thing is, we have these people go out. Police, Nigerian police people go out to go and do foreign missions, and they see how their colleagues are being treated. You know, we hear of reports that when they were there, they did well, they excelled. The question you need to ask yourself is why? Because whilst they were there, they were getting the kind of remuneration
that was commensurate to.
You understand the kind of work, the kind of risk. You call them in the midnight, they are out there, we are sleeping in our houses, they're expected to pursue all of these people. Do you think it's easy to arrest somebody who is, you know, defrauding the whole world billions of dollars? Do you think it's easy? Because this person is not just defrauding Nigerians, he's defrauding the whole world. Is, you know, making sure that he's making money from all sort of people all over the world, and hush puppy. So you want to arrest such a person, and you just give the person a measly amount of money, and you expect him to be able to carry out surveillance, to be able to go to the kind of hotels, to be able to pretend and act. Because you see, when you talk about intelligence, to be able to arrest some of these people, you need to go to sleep in those kind of hotels, hang around them, do certain things around them, and those things cost money. And when you legally request for those money, are they being given? You know, those are things we need to ask ourselves. Because each time we talk about failure, how did we get to that point? Have we reviewed it? Have we said to ourselves, okay, we can't afford to pay all the police in Nigeria, but we need crack teams. We need to say, okay, we need certain people who, anytime we call on them, they will perform, because they know, because we're giving them what is their worth. In fact, they hold their job and guard it jealously. Look, the guy who works in, forgive me if I mention names, let me even just generally say communication companies. If they are found to have committed fraud, the way they would be worried, because they know that they are losing a very, very good job. But if you catch a police officer and the man has been able to sort himself out properly, you'll be glad he's even leaving so that he can go and start his own security company. Because the point, at the end of the day, the job is not attractive. You should not allow people who risk their life for the safety of Nigerians be treated the way we have continued to treat them. We're paying, look, let me say this clearly, we're paying lip service to the way we have treated our law enforcement officers in Nigeria. And let me say it plainly, we cannot get the result we want with this kind of arrangement until we're willing to change what we have, the structure and the remuneration structure, the supervision, the training. If we're not going to change it, let's stop kidding ourselves. In fact, what we're getting is good enough for what we're paying.
Well, that's food for thought. I recall that the DG and CEO of NDLEA, General Buba Marwa, at a point, in fact, he has been advocating that there need to be drug tests. There need to be psychological, tests around all these people who are not just security officers, but even politicians, even those who are going to be given some level of and trusted with some kind of confidence and authority to handle things on behalf of the society and government, need to be subjected or undergo some kind of tests, so that you can ascertain their capacity and capability and all of that. Would you see this as what should be right now, urgently?
Again, you've given me an opportunity to also touch on a very, very important topic. That General Buba Marwa, obviously, I'm not surprised at the kind of results he's getting, because when he was running the Operation Sweep in Lagos, we all have, we have a
he introduced the operation, everything, and then all states started having operation this, operation that,
and results were coming. When he was running Operation Sweep in Lagos, everybody who was in that squad were on a consolidated salary. He said, look, I don't want to know what they're being paid in police, but I know that these guys have a job to do and they must be. Now, he's gone into NDLEA again and is changing. When we have the luck, opportunity to have the right people doing this kind of job, you get the kind of result. But my prayer, and I say it clearly without holding any words back, is that Mr. President would look into the kind of job this great man is doing and find a proper way of supporting him and doing things to ensure that it does not fail, because it will be painful for people like him to throw themselves into the court and want to do everything, test this, do that, make sure that things are done, and get the kind of result he's getting. And at the end of the day, he becomes tired, because you see, no matter how much, you mentioned the Customs Controller General, when he was coming in, in his mind, oh, these people are terrible people, I'm going to deal with them, because he was brought in to come and cleanse the place. But when he got in and put their remuneration side by side, the work they were doing, it was him who started advocating. I'm sure the minister would have been surprised, because I'm sure at some point in the earlier meeting, he was the one who said, don't worry, people, when I get in there, I'm going to flog them, I'm going to make sure that I clean them up and all that. But when he now got there and saw the reality, I saw that, look, how can they be paid this kind of salary and you expect them to pretend over this kind of thing? You can't. What is policing? Policing means supervising. Policing means flogging people into line. Now, you can't flog people into line when you are discouraged, you don't have the strength. I mean, how can you go into a place and you're the one who is supposed to be sitting on top of the hierarchy to say, okay, no, you can't do this, this is the way things be done. Exactly. But at the end of the day, you know that person that you're telling is in every way better than you. I mean, you don't even have the, I've always asked this question: how will you feel if you go into a very good restaurant and you saw a police officer going in there to eat? How will you feel? You feel like this man is not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be in a buka, right? What is wrong with him sitting in that place to eat, even in uniform? Because when you travel outside of this country, you will see an American police officer going into a restaurant to eat, and people will even respect them for coming in. Unless you raise the standard of living of your police to that level, you will not get the result you want. Because at the end of the day, all of us is like a regulator for this light. If you want the light to work in the kind of way you want it to work, the cameraman will tell you. They have regulated it to get this kind of effect. If that regulator is not working, you will not get this light. That is as simple as that. These people play those roles. Are the regulators working? Are they in good condition? If they are not in good condition, you will not get good results. Simple as ABC.
I totally agree. Now, if we all sit back and we follow this Abba Kyari allegations and much more, what lessons do we stand to learn from the fact that we have people doing excellent work and they, receiving all the accolades? Sometimes it could be some skeleton. I'm not saying that all the accusations are true, but we're saying that allegations shouldn't even come in the first place, But what lessons do we have to learn, especially from the perspective of the Nigerian police, whom Abba Kyari belonged?
So again, we need such people to do this work, because there will always be the wrong people in the society. You need people who will be able to flog all of us in line, because including me and you, if we do not know that we're going to be arrested, we'll probably just drive one way from wherever we're coming.
We remember the days of war against indiscipline.
And all of us
as much as it was not democratic,
but all of us will kill
everybody.
I remember a particular case, now that you just mentioned it. I was in a taxi and I was eating something and I wanted to throw out the paper.
Oh, you're in trouble.
The driver was watching me. You know what he did? He was driving with on and I said, "Oga, please bring the paper." I don't want to get into trouble. So you need regulators.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the idea is, what do you do to make sure that those regulators are in the kind of frame of mind, good condition and training, monitored, supervised, properly remunerated? Because if you don't do those things, if you bring angels to run the police force the way we have it today, we're not going to get a better result.
I agree. Thank you so much, Oluwaseyi Adeyemo, for coming on the program
today.
Thank you so
much for having me.
Thanks for all the insight. Thank you.
Thank you.